our Seattle guy, Jason Rantz. You heard about these changes in New York. Update us, please, on the progressive DA in charge in Kings County. I think that's the Seattle area. What's the progressive DA doing there?
Well, we just found out that when it comes to juvenile felony cases, that some 40% will be put instead of in front of a judge and with the potential with going to jail, but being forced into these restorative justice programs that effectively say, we will handle the punishment instead of a jury. And the problem is that these restorative justice programs that they participate with are run by organizations that aren't just anti-police, but they're abolitionist groups. These are groups that don't believe at all in prison. And what you end up having are like violent felonies going down this line. I think reasonable people can say, look, if it's some 17-year-old kid, 16-year-old kid who's stealing a candy bar from a convenience store, no, we shouldn't be throwing them in jail. Restorative justice programs can actually work for them. But when we're talking about bringing a gun to school or stealing cars or committing assaults, these are kids who are already really far gone, and they can get the restorative justice, but they need to do that actually in jail and not just release back onto the streets. We, just like in Manhattan, just like all across the country in these Democrat-run cities, we have a serious prolific offender problem. And the mayors who have been experiencing some of the rise in crime in this region, they went to the prosecutor's office and said, we need answers. You need to help us with this. Why aren't you putting people in jail? They were told, get used to it. Get used to,
oh my goodness me. Now, you wrote a piece and you titled it, Seattleites Complain They Can't Find Woke Therapists for Segregated Healthcare. Okay, I don't want to get into this too much, but I just ask you, what is a woke therapist?
Well, what these Seattleites are asking for are therapists who can meet them at their intersectional identities. And what they're complaining about is that they can't find enough therapists that look exactly like they do and think like they do, which kind of defeats the purpose of therapy. But what we've seen in this region, and really progressives have been pushing this idea that you should only see a black doctor if you're black, or a Latino doctor if you are Latino. And now we're seeing it sort of being pushed into the realm of therapy, thinking that they're not actually going to be able to understand your complaints or issues if they don't identify the way you do, which of course, that's not how therapy works. Empathy is an incredible part of therapy, and someone who happens to be white or cisgendered should still be able to provide for you really good treatment if they've got the background to do it. And that background, the only identity I think that matters is the PhD and not necessarily whether or not they're black or transgender or whatever it happens to be.
I sometimes wonder if Seattle is on a different planet. I have serious concerns about that.
So do I.
Yeah, I'm sure. You still live there. Jason, thank you, sir. See you again. Happy New Year to you.
Thanks, Stuart.
All right.
Happy New Year.